Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, Aidan, let's just get started with the fight, man. It's going to be the third one. Was this something that you anticipated, like they were going to put the third fight together eventually?
Yeah, it definitely was on my MMA bucket list as far as a fight that I wanted to have before I call it a day. Given the history of it all, and it's kind of like left a lot of answers with how the last one ended. And yeah, it took a while for it to happen, but given the recovery window he had to go through to come back, kind of didn't quite line up the way we'd hoped. When they were ready for it, I'd already taken a fight with another promotion, so we had to wait for that to be done. But I'm pretty happy with how it's lined up. It's on a huge card. It feels fitting. It's the same arena as well, which is going to be a bit of a trip for both of us. I can only imagine for him. So, I'm very happy it's happening.
Yeah, let's talk about the previous two fights. The first one you guys fought in 2021 at Coastal Combat. What do you remember most from that matchup, and what did you learn about him in that fight?
The first fight, it was, I think he stepped in on short notice as a replacement for someone else. And, it was soft. He beat me fair and square. It was very, very wrestling heavy with his game plan. I really didn't want to strike too much with me. And fair enough, I hit him with like a switch kick to the head really early. And I think from then on, he was like, all right, I've got to play this safe, which is the smart thing to do. So it was a frustrating fight for me, but I feel like I got a pretty good read on his top game, his top grappling and all that, because I got to spend about 10 minutes underneath him over that fight. So he's strong. He's strong. He's good grappler, very solid, good positioning. Doesn't take stupid risks. Like he's conservative, but he does come up and try and hit you pretty hard. We both cut each other in that fight. I think he came up and elbowed me at some point, and then I got him back with an up kick at another point. So we both ended up getting stitches backstage, but. Yeah, it was a frustrating fight, but a good wake-up call. Okay, I need to get better at getting back up. I can't just rely on my bottom game. Yeah.
And the second fight, it only lasted 20 seconds, man. What do you remember from that experience? And was it kind of like, I don't know, traumatizing maybe?
That's a good question. I mean, sure. It was super, super disappointing and frustrating. Obviously, I don't want to see that happen to anyone. And I really respect Jack, and also just given the position he was in, because I heard murmurs that if he had won that, he was through to the UFC, and then to have that happen to him, that's just brutal. That fight had been delayed 2 or 3 times, so it was like a 6 or 7 month lead up. So for it to end that way was super, super frustrating. I don't want to win that way. Yeah, I checked a kick correctly, but you don't want to see that kind of thing happen. But yeah, I mean, sure. If when people kick me in the knees now in training, it definitely I get a little worried for a second. But I wear knee pads when I spar for that reason. Like, it's one of the things I've worn knee pads for a long time. That's not the first time I've injured someone with a check. I just haven't snapped someone's shin like that before. So it was fucking horrible, dude.
It was, man. But it shows, defense, man. You know your defense and how to check. A lot of people don't really know how to check kicks, it seems like, properly. Do you see that? Like the technique is not very good for checking?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I spent a lot of time sparring with some very good kickboxers. Like, main one would be a guy called Jabba Askarov, who's been around forever. He's had like 130 fights. He's fought everyone. And he will like snap your leg. He'll break your fucking femur if you let him. So you got to get on those checks early. So that was sparring him was a wake up call to really get my leg kick defense in point. And the other thing is, if it's the same as you've done a bit of training now. Like, if you hit someone with a hard body shot or a hard leg kick and you know it hurts, you're kind of expecting one back pretty quickly. So I kind of knew it was going to be coming, and then he sent it hard with no real setup, so it was pretty easy to read.
That's definitely true, man. Yeah, it's almost like in sparring, you're like trying to one up each other. So like, I guess in the fighting, it's just magnified by 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I knew it was coming. Well, I do that in training all the time. When I'll throw a couple of calf kicks and like, all right, these are getting too hard. I know he's going to come back on, or a liver shot. You get a nice liver shot in, they're going to try and get you back there.
Since the broken leg, he has fought a few times. And what did you think about some of those performances, man? Very close fights.
Very impressed with the turnaround as far as how quickly he came back. the and how game he was with throwing that leg again. I think his first fight back was against Martinez, I think, and I distinctly remember him throwing like hard leg
Mm-hmm.
kicks, and some of them got checked, and he didn't stop him from throwing them again. So he's obviously got full confidence in that leg again, which is really cool to see. And so it's cool to see anyone come back from that, especially as fast as he has. So yeah, nothing but respect for that. But as far as performances, it's solid. Like it's him. I think his first one, his timing was a little off. He didn't quite look himself, but Martinez kind of has a way of doing that to people. And then from then on, he's really kind of come back into his own. Fought Togo, really tough, close fight. Fought Joblin, did really well against him. And then I can't remember the Japanese guy's name, but had a great fight in his last fight. Really took it to the guy, like very game. So it was a fun fight to watch. So yeah, he's back in full form.
Yeah, it's interesting that he like when he returned, he took on Dave Martinez, which was not an easy fight for anybody. You know what I mean? Like you fought him, you know.
Yeah, and it's like his game, and he's not mucking around. He's one of the real dudes. You know, he's not looking to pad his record. He's fighting the real guys. Like all the guys he's fought since then. Joblin's tough. Togo is obviously very tough, and then the Japanese guy, former judo champion. Like it's I have nothing but respect. I've got nothing bad to say about Becker. I really don't. Like especially with how he's come back. Like this isn't one of those ones where I'm going in there like angry about it or anything like that. There's no bad blood on my end, and hopefully not on his end either. But whatever, that's on him. Um, yeah, it's a fun fight. It feels like we've got some like unresolved. There's like the ending to our story hasn't been written yet, so we've got to figure that one out.
Definitely. Let's talk about your team, Adrenaline. When did you become one of the owners? Is that did that happen recently?
Oh no, it's been maybe like 4 or 5 years around COVID. Yeah,
Okay,
around
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah, basically stepped in and started running the place, like ran the business side of it, so the head coach could just focus on coaching the team. And no, it's been awesome. It's been really good. And the team's doing really strong. Got some great athletes coming up. Like obviously Matt Myers has been killing it. Had a bit of a setback with a knee injury, but he's in a great spot and he should be back soon. We've got Val Sharapov, who's 3-0 now, and be looking to really kind of solidify himself. Sorry, at the top of the featherweight division. Then we've got a bunch of up and coming amateurs, guys like Harry Casares, Bakiro Amle is another one that's doing really well, and a ton of other ones coming up. So yeah, really solid team.
If you look at like your track record and his track record, you guys have just fought like the killers in that country, man. Like you guys did not dodge anybody. It seemed like. Was there any talk about that? Like, you know, like some guys in the regional scene, they're kind of picking and choosing a little bit.
I think it's guys in any scene will do that, right? If given the chance, it's just one of those things where I think your first 3 or 4 pro fights, you should have a chance to slowly build yourself up and go from there, you know. But you want to be testing yourself, like taking little step ups every every next challenge should be a little bit harder than building your way up, being ready because I think gone are the days where you can pad your way to the UFC. I mean, maybe not. I might be wrong, but you're going to get exposed once you get there. Everyone knows that. Like it's happened, plenty of people from all over the world, have taken easier fights or really padded their record than that. If you're 12-0 going in there, you're expected to be a world beater, and then you come out and you're getting smashed by a journeyman. It kind of says something about the path you took to get there. But I understand people taking, a slower build. But I think the frustrating thing is seeing people get close to the point of the UFC and then kind of just waiting for a call-up rather than making it definitive.
Mm.
And I think you see that in every regional scene where there'll be, a couple of promotions and obviously the promotions don't want their champions to fight each other. But when given the opportunity, a lot of these guys turn those fights down to either take an easy fight, hoping they need one more win to get to the UFC, or just wait and kind of waste a year or two to get the call-up that might not come.
Yeah, that's the shit part. But yeah, like because you guys are fighting the best in the country, I think that's why the results are so good from fighters from Australia and New Zealand is because the competition to get to that point is so tough.
Absolutely, and you'll get like a promotion like Eternal where they don't really do build-up fights, like which is pretty cool. Like I've worked as a matchmaker for a long time, and it's like you don't really see, like, say they get a big name, someone that sells a lot of tickets. Sure, the first 2, 3 fights, you get that slow build, and I think anyone should have the right to do that. You shouldn't be shunned for that. But once you get to 4-0 or 5-0, it's the time to get to work. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone really be given an easy road. I know fights fall through, and sometimes you've got to scramble to find an opponent, and it might not be the best matchup in the world at the last minute. But they're marquee fights. It's never local champion fighting someone from the Philippines with a 2-6 record kind of deal.
Preparations for this fight coming up. Like, who have you worked closely with and sparred mostly with for this upcoming fight?
The whole team, as usual, like guys like Matt Myers, Val Sharapov, who's a really solid wrestler. I've had Harry Safis back from his knee injury. He's 4-1 as an amateur, but very good wrestler. Very similar style to Becker, probably a little bit more aggressive, so it kind of forces the action. So I've been really glad to have him back to get ready for this one. Kind of dealing with a strong, shorter, nuggety wrestler who's solid. But yeah, the usual team, mate. I don't really change a whole lot for prep for any fight.
And your expectations, man, in this fight coming up, like you said, there's something unresolved here, but no beef. It's just like competition. What do you expect out of yourself?
I just my goal was just rise to the occasion, perform well, do myself and my team justice. Like I kind of know we both know what we're dealing with. Like reality of the situation is I'm probably a little bit better of a striker. He's a better grappler. But we both got, we can both hold our own in both those domains. So it could go anywhere. Who knows? Like I'm resigning myself to this is going to be a hard fight. I just want to switch on, do my job well, and hopefully we get like a good resolution to this story, whatever it may be.
For sure, man. And what do you think is up for grabs in this fight? Like the winner. Where do you think the winner goes from here?
I think it definitely puts you at the top end of the lightweight scene, but it's such a stacked division now. It's like there's other fights that are kind of for the same thing, like that Don Ma fan versus Luke Daly, another fight where those two probably it's like the two young up and comers. Whoever wins that one's right at the top as well, and it's wide open at the moment with Quillen. Quillen's gone to a contender series, and I would anticipate he's going to go through the UFC. He's a very skilled fighter, so the scene's really up for grabs. So whoever wins is right at the top. I don't really care about climbing the rankings now. I'm fighting for the love of fighting. So, but it's one of those things where definitely puts you in a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. It does definitely put you in a good spot, man. Aiden, I think you're one of the guys that I've been interviewing the longest from Australia. I don't remember how far we go back, man, but you've always been the same guy though. That's one thing I respect. I mean, you never change. You have the same attitude, and man, I'm thinking that you should be in the UFC very soon, man. That's the way I look at it. But your attitude is what? You're just fighting for the love of fighting. Does that kind of give you some freedom though?
Absolutely. I think I've done this for so long, and yeah, I think we've been doing this, me and you, interviews for maybe like 9 or 10 years, something crazy like that.
Yeah,
On that
some
note, I don't think
nuts, dude.
I never got rich or famous enough to change, man. I'm still poor. But no, it's I I've been doing this for so long, and the reality of the situation, I'm turning 34. My record's pretty mixed. Like, there's so many good guys out there. Why would I be the one to get signed? I'm not saying I don't deserve to be there, but there's 100 of me, 1,000 of me, and 900 of them are 25, 24, with a better record. So it's one of those things where realistically, I'm probably never making it, and I'm okay with that. Obviously, if I got the call up, I'd jump at it, give it a good crack. But it's one of those things, I'm kind of coming up to the next chapter of my life. So I love this sport. I've had such a good time with the journey. Like I really don't regret it. It's just I've got to be. I'm in a bit more of like a realistic kind of planning for my future mindset now. So it's like I'm not all my eggs aren't in the MMA basket anymore.
All right. And the podcast, man. Like I haven't been seeing any of the podcast. Like what happened? Is it still going?
That's a good question. I need to get back on it. I've updated the studio and everything. Like it looks better. I just with the business, I've been flat out, mate. Between like I do some days I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm closing the gym at 8 p.m. And it's just been absolutely flat out. And I didn't want it to be a chore. Like so I kind of got burnt out. But definitely a few people have asked, I got to get back on it. I really do. And I plan on it. Like it'll be back.
Yeah, you have a perfect personality for having your own show, and then since you are a fighter, you can like kind of use your comedic ways to express certain opinions. And you know, the clips that I saw from the show that I saw with you, I think you and Matt, that was some gold, man. You had there.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I really do enjoy it, and yeah, I want to get some good guests on. It's just I think it got to the point where it was like, all right, I'll get to like finish work halfway through Saturday, and I've got my day and a half recovery, then back to work again. So it's when I'm not in a fight camp, I'll definitely look to get back on the horse and get it going again.
Nice. Um, August 17th, Eternal MMA 87, Aidan versus Jack. It's gonna be a banger, man. Like you're always in. You're always. It doesn't matter what it is, what fight it is, what opponent it is. You're always in a crazy fight, action-packed fight, and man, I'm always looking forward to it. That's what I anticipate.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm not into to score points. I want the finish. It's like, and obviously I want the finish in this fight. I'm sure he does too. So I think it's. I'm anticipating a war. Like it's gonna. I'm not expecting this one to be easy at all. But that's the fun in it, right? Like yeah, I'm excited to hopefully end this chapter on a high, and then who knows where I'll go after this one. But I think me and Jack owe it to each other to go out there and really take it to each other, and I think we will. I really do.